He was in the industry and out of it. What do you mean by that?
This is actually given to me by my father. I was on a mission in the early years, around 68, 69, to the city of Mumbai to seek a job in the film industry, and I was asked to do a screen test, which I did, thanks to some very well-known people. I'm not going to name them now. And later on in the evening, they said, well, you know, you're here for a day, we are going out to a party, why don't you come along? And I went along with them, and at the party, I saw things which were kind of disturbing. I mean, everyone was happy and they were having their drinks and eating their food, and then some discussion took place between one of the celebrities and a journalist, and a fight broke out. And when I say a fight, it was actually a physical fight. You know, they were punching each other and stuff like that. And what was really amazing was that the hostess, who was also a very prominent celebrity, was unconcerned with this punch-up and was serving, what would you like to have, sir? And then just serving all over. And I felt this was rather odd, so I just stepped out of the house. And when I came back, I narrated this to my father and said, you know, you have to be like Balrajji. You have to be in it to get out of it.
How would you describe Balraj Sahni's acting style?
I just mentioned it. He was just, you never felt that he was performing.
Yes.
He was always so real, so simple. And as I said, when you ask somebody on the street, he said, "वो जब बोलते तो ऐसा लगता था कि यही सही है." That's a great compliment.
Right.
Because many of us are incapable of getting that kind of compliment from a common man on the street. And when he thinks that this is what his performance was like, then you tend to believe it.
By the way, Parikshit, this is a really well-written book, so you obviously inherited some of the writing ability from your father, who was a writer, apart from being an actor. And your uncle,
Vishal Sahni, yeah.
who was a full-time writer.
Yeah, he was a full-time writer.
So there's something has come into you, which I wish you had realized earlier.
I don't know, Anil Saab. I think, again, Shelley has said that poetry should come to a man like leaves to a tree. Otherwise, it needn't come at all. So, writing is something that comes to you like leaves to a tree, you know. It is something, I mean, it can't be learned, it can't be copied, it cannot be inherited, I think.
He's a poet too.
No, really, it's something, I don't know, I've been writing since I was in school, I've been writing since I was in college, I did literature in college. And I've been writing ever since, but nobody took it seriously. They said, "Ye to actor aadmi hai yaar. Kya likh ke le aa rahe ho?" I went to several papers and said, "Please publish this article or this little thing I've printed." Some people did, and the others dismissed me as being, "Yeah, you're an actor."
But you had a story published in the Illustrated Weekly of India.
Yeah, that credit goes to a lady called Anis Jung. I wrote about 2 or 3 paragraphs and she saw them. And she said, "Sit down now and finish them." And she made me sit till about 3 o'clock in the morning on my underwood and type it out, and I kept saying, "Yaar, chodo ye, kai ke liye kar rahi ho, thak gaya hu. Khatam karo, khatam karo, khatam karo." And she took it and gave it to the Illustrated Weekly, and they liked it. And it was published. That was Anisha's doing. I think I owe her a great debt of gratitude because she's the one who's started the whole ball rolling, you know.
In the book, you often refer to your stormy relationship with your father.
Yeah.
But I also saw a lot of extremely loving episodes. So it was a kind of mix, right? But he was never harsh with you.
No. On the contrary, I think he told me very early in life that just forget that I'm your dad. Let's be good friends. I had my first cigarette with him. I had my first glass of beer with him. He said, "Don't do anything behind my back." Early in life, he even said, "Don't call me dad. Don't call me Pitaji. Call me by my name." So he was like a friend the rest of his life. He was a very strange man. We discussed things that no father would discuss with his son, and he never ever raised his voice. He didn't correct me. He didn't tell me I was doing something wrong. He didn't yell at me or nothing. He just kept saying, "You're a great guy. You to just learn to live and live to learn." That was his motto.
So were you a spoiled child?
Beg your pardon?
Were you a spoiled child?
I was, yes. I was thoroughly spoiled. Thoroughly spoiled. Absolutely. And I think many of us star sons are. Not all, of course, their parents are. But I lived in boarding schools. Mainly I didn't live with the family ever, almost. Only in the holidays. And in the boarding schools I was singled out. Arey bhai, Balraj Sahni Saab ka beta hai. So I thought I was a big shot, which harmed me a great deal. It was only in Russia that I felt very happy because nobody knew who the hell I was. Nobody knew who was Balraj Sahni, and I felt I was myself. But in college and in schools and where I went, they thoroughly spoiled me. Guys were nice to me because, arey bhai, Sahni Saab ka beta. So,
You must have grown up under the shadow of your father.
Indeed.
Well, that brief answer doesn't give me a lead into another question. You could be more helpful.
Okay. I'm going to narrate a story then. I've said this many times before in several other events, but because you've raised this issue, I think I'll talk about it. I'm referring to a poem my father wrote. It's called Wasiyatnama. Every one of us at a certain age writes a will. And I won't go into the recitation of the poem, but I'll just give you the essence. He says that, in the poem, he says that, a time comes in your age when your friends and well-wishers say, umr kafi ho gayi hai yaar, ek wasiyatnama likh do, life ka kuch pata nahi hota hai, aur जो कुछ भी देना है अपने परिवार को, बेटों को, ये सब अभी से तय कर दो, क्योंकि बेटों को भी बड़ा आजकल सामना करना पड़ता है अपने आप को साबित करने के लिए कि हाँ भाई ये मेरे पिता हैं. तो he wrote the whole thing, and one of the things he said is, look, I don't have much to give and leave behind for my children. I just have my written works, and later on in his life he used to go for a walk and pick up a stone and used to find an imagery in it and draw a few lines and it would come out. And he says, these are the rocks and these poems that I have. But some of the most important thing that he said in that poem, which was that what are you going to leave behind? And he said,
Can you recite that bit?
Put saput kyu dhan sanchay, put kaput kyu dhan sanchay. And then he wrote the last line, and he said, mere bete hone se mere uttaradhikari nahi honge. मेरे बेटे होने से मेरे उत्तराधिकारी नहीं होंगे, जो मेरे उत्तराधिकारी होंगे वो मेरे बेटे होंगे. So Parikshit is an excellent example. He is the true inheritor of his father, and therefore you are the true uttaradhikari.
Amitav, I think you have followed that same philosophy in your career, that you have not, in spite of the stature that you have, you never tried to tell the director what to do or tried to deviate from the script. Am I right?
Yeah, I think that the essence of every film is what comes out of the writer's pen, and I think that needs to be respected. I also believe that he's the one who designs an entire film. He thinks of the characters, he thinks how they should dress, he decides how they will say their lines. He decides the location as to where it's going to be. And I'm sure that this is in conjunction with the director, but if he has gone through so much trouble to do that, I don't think I have any right, if I'm a professional and if I've agreed contractually to follow what the director is going to ask me to do, then I should follow the writer. That they are the most important people in every film. And I just do it out of my respect and regard for the writer. As Balraji was saying, here's the story. Once it's written, I do believe that that is final. If you have a difference, yes, you sit before going onto the set. But once you're in front of the camera, then you don't argue. You just do what is asked of you to do.